The time is now to architect a life of excellence. What will we do? Who will we become? We decide today. This is Learn, Do, Become Radio with April and Eric Perry. Let's move onward and upward together.
Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and today we're talking about 2 questions to seriously ponder this week. At Learn, Do, Become, it's all about architecting a life of excellence. We help people who are drowning in the details of life to build simple systems so they can do what matters most. And as each of us is learning, doing, and becoming, it's important to ask ourselves uplifting, focused questions and then seriously think about them during the pockets of quiet time in our lives. Today, I have 2 suggested questions that have made a big difference for me, and I hope that they'll help you as well. Question number 1, what have my experiences most prepared me to offer the world? And question number 2, who needs me to support them with my whole heart today? I have some supporting ideas to go along with these questions, so let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, essentially, I've been thinking a lot about you lately, like a lot. And I know it might sound a little strange that I care so much, but as I've been talking about the 25,000 step command centrals we want to build to help you organize all the details and papers and processes and everything in your life, I've been receiving some beautiful emails. And my vision for what this can be is becoming more clear and exciting than ever before. I mean, seriously, I'm like waking up in the middle of the night, dreaming about all these command centrals. And throughout the day, my heart's like pounding really fast because I'm so excited about what's going on. So for example, I received an email a few days ago that said this. I just listened to your podcast about your struggle with whether you should do more than just focusing on your STEP Command Central. That was episode 45 from March 13th. I'm here to say that I haven't even gotten to do that yet. I will be one of your 25,000. On a Friday night recently, while my kids and husband were away for a few hours, that never happens, I settled in and did what I have been yearning, seriously craving to do for years now. I listened to your Clean a Drawer podcast while I organized my bathroom cabinet. If anyone thinks, how could one command central change a life? I'm telling you, this one cabinet being clean is changing my life. It was a mess. I have 2 boys, 4.5 and 2.5. I am an overwhelmed, tired mom who works outside the home full-time and struggles with anxiety and depression. This year, I have committed to putting my needs higher on the priority list. Clearing the space around me clears my head, and I've always loved planning and organizing. In fact, that's what I do at work. But my personal spaces at home are what get the least amount of attention, and when I see them every day, it completely stresses me out. This was one of those spaces. One small step to change my mornings and evenings, one giant leap towards changing my life. I can't wait to keep the momentum going and start my command central. I can't even tell you how much I love that. And beautiful emails like that one, in addition to the photos of the command centrals that are popping up in our Facebook group and in our email, it thrills me. Every time I see one, it thrills me. I'm so excited. But not because I'm trying to be a rock star or anything. It's because I love what is happening inside you. Okay, so let's go back to question number 1 and let's think about it. Here's the question again. What have my experiences most prepared me to offer to the world? Here's a little story. Back in 2009, I had a series of surgeries and had to spend months in bed. And it's hard for me to even talk about those months because there was so much pain and embarrassment attached to those experiences. But now that it's been 10 years, I feel like I can at least share a few details. So essentially, I was living in a situation where it took me about an hour a day to use the restroom. And I had severe pain, like in ways you don't typically talk about in public or on a podcast, for about 20 to 30 hours a week. I actually clocked it because I was wondering how many hours am I spending just in pain management. And a lot of that was at night while I was supposed to be sleeping, but it was during the day as well. Okay, so we had 4 little ones at the time. They were 2, 6, 7, and 9. And they would often camp out right outside the bathroom door with their library books and toys, or they'd play quietly in their rooms around the house so I could rest. But it was bad. It was really bad. We didn't go on many vacations or do any Pinterest-worthy crafts or take many beautiful photos or anything like that during that time. I was in total survival mode and often wondered if I would ever feel relief. Like all I could do was just go from like minute to minute. I couldn't think of anything else. The surgeries were eventually successful, and I have been healthy for years now, fortunately. But I learned 2 really important lessons. Lesson number 1, you can have precious, instructive, beautiful experiences with your higher power in the most miserable circumstances of your life. And lesson number 2, when you're working with limited energy, sometimes it's easier to gain clarity on which dreams of yours really matter. That's how this story relates back to our question number 1. What of our experiences really prepared us to offer the world? So, okay, regarding my lesson number 1, though, about having these precious, instructive, beautiful experiences with your higher power, I'll just share one quick story that makes me smile every time I think about it, because there's a lot of beautiful things that I could say, but I feel like I need to be kind of careful about what I just put out there because they're really precious to me. Okay, but here's one little story. It had been a long day of recovery from my most difficult surgery. They kept having to do the surgeries over and over again because it wasn't working. So this was one of my most difficult ones. And I was wondering if there would come a time I wouldn't have to stay within 15 feet of a restroom. It was so bad. So I was feeling really discouraged, and I opened my scriptures for some light and insight and hoping something could give me like that lasting hope that I needed. The scripture that I turned to, sometimes you just open the book and see what you find. The scripture that I turned to could not have been more perfect. And although Learn to Become isn't a religious website, I hope you won't mind me sharing this. It was from Isaiah in the Old Testament, and it said this: "For the Lord shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places." That's funny, right? I was sharing that in one of our church classes. Everyone just laughed with me, like, that's funny. But the thing was, it was exactly what I needed to hear. Because not only did it confirm that God loved me and would help me, but it reminded me that He totally understood my situation and could help me see the humor in the whole thing in such an awesome way. I was like laughing and feeling so loved at the same time. So that was just one tiny example of the support that I received from heaven. For as hard as that time of my life was, when I think back on it, I mostly remember light and love. Now, regarding lesson 2 from that experience, where often we get more clarity on which dreams of ours really matter, I remember resting in bed one day and asking myself, if I were to feel healthy again, what would I want to do with my life? What have my experiences prepared me to do that will most help the world? I thought about that a lot. I had hours and hours and hours to just lay there and think about it and dream about a day I wouldn't be laying in bed. It was, yeah. I'm like going through like post-traumatic stress disorder, as that was called, something like that. Oh man, okay. But the answer was I wanted to teach people how to build a command central. Now, this was like 10 years ago. I had just built my very first command central. And it was a little card table and random supplies I'd gathered from around the house, and it was sitting right next to my bed. But that command central kept things running beautifully while I was healing from these surgeries. My email stayed at 0. The papers didn't pile up. I mean, life wasn't perfect or anything, but that command central kept things going, and I was already excited about it. While I was resting in bed one day, I even found the phone number for the David Allen Company online. He's the one that wrote Getting Things Done. And I called them on the phone to ask if it was okay for me to translate his material for the people who were following me online. Because I was like, I started talking about it and people are really excited. And I think there's more I can do with this. So his secretary was so nice. She gave me a short list of like the legal parameters, how I need to use his registered trademark and, just the basics of what I needed to do. But then she essentially said yes. And that was the beginning of STEP in our command centrals. It was so fun. Okay. I remember laying in bed, though, and I'm making the phone call, and I looked awful. I'm like in my pajamas. I've been in bed forever. I'm just in this awful spot. I'm like calling this company. I was shaking because I was so nervous. My hands were sweaty as I was holding the phone, and I felt like, who am I to even call this company? But they were so nice. Anyway, that's what we're doing now. Okay, so now I want you to take a moment to consider this for your own life. Your experiences have strengthened you, taught you valuable lessons, and prepared you to lift someone else. Which of your skills and abilities is most needed by the world? And how could you offer that to others, even just starting in a very small way? I love these questions. I hope that you're really thinking about them because holy cow, there's so much that you are able to do to help someone else. All right, let's move on to the second question we're pondering this week. Who needs me to support them with my whole heart today? It's fun to think about the future, but it's also really important to think about who is in my life right now who needs me to support them with my whole heart. And I want to explain a little bit more about what that means, at least to me. Many years ago, one of my sisters spent months studying for the CPA exam, taking and retaking it several times. On one of her most important test days, when she had to pass or start the whole process again, because the test is delivered in parts, an amazing thing happened. 15 minutes before the time allotted was up, she realized she'd done one of the two long or handwritten problems totally wrong. But with the remaining time on the clock, she was able to fix it. And after the test, she went out to the car feeling a mixture of relief and exhilaration. She knew she'd passed, and she had. She decided to stop by her parents' house on the way home, and our mom was on the front porch like she'd been waiting for her. And Mom jumped up and said, "I have been praying for you all day. How was your test?" Laura told her how wonderful it had gone, and then Mom asked her an interesting question. Did anything happen at 1:45? Because my mom knew what time the test was. And Laura responded yes, and then told her how she'd fixed the long problem. And then Mom explained, "I was praying so hard for you right at that time. And I asked God that if there was any mistake you'd made, you would find it and have time to fix it." It's that kind of love and thoughtfulness and power that we need in our lives today. And the reason I'm sharing all this is because I know that there are many in our Learn, Do, Become community, or people who are out there but don't yet know about our community, who are living in overwhelming circumstances. And most of the time you don't talk about it or tell anyone about the details because you don't know if there's a solution, that there is relief and hope available. But the other day, Eric and I were out walking our dog, and Eric asked what I was thinking about. And I said, "You know how my mom prayed for Laura when she was taking her CPA exam? I feel like that for our community. I can't see them, and I don't know exactly what's happening in their hearts and lives, but I just care about them so much. And perhaps if they don't have someone like my mom cheering for them and praying for them, that's who I want to be." There's a unique kind of power that comes into our lives when we're living for others. And that's the kind of wife, mother, friend, and person I want to be. I'm not totally there yet, but I'm working on it. I found that this community is full of compassionate, hardworking, amazing individuals. And while all of us have challenges, sometimes just taking a moment to look outside ourselves and see if we could offer relief or hope in some way becomes a benefit to all parties involved. I hope that you have some great experiences as you ponder these questions. And I'd love to hear any of your thoughts or ideas in the comments on this post. We would love that. This is episode 46. So if you go to learndobecome.com/episode 46, you can leave a comment there. Thank you for all of your support. I am so excited about the 25,000 step command centrals we're working towards. I haven't even figured out the process of how we're going to collect the photos or track the numbers yet, but the momentum is building. People are already sending them in. I'm so happy. I am incredibly grateful. So more is coming, and I wish you could see all my lists and brainstorms and feel the excitement happening behind the scenes. I'm recording this 10 minutes before a team meeting. We're about to jump in, and I am so excited. But here's the thing. Everything has to happen at a doable pace. Because we're not going for a flash in the pan of excitement here. We are building a major, life-changing, powerful movement that will transform the world. And you are the reason for it all. And you have great things ahead. Sometimes I feel this frustration because I'm thinking, I have this vision I'm so excited about with these 25,000 command centrals, but we still need to clean the house and make meals and go to meetings and do just stuff. And I want to enjoy my friends and family in the process. Like my little 11-year-old sets his alarm early every morning so he can come in and just snuggle with me before we get up for the day. How cute is that? And our teenagers just hang out with us at night and just want to talk. And I love that. And we have friends and date nights, and Eric and I spend time just talking and being together, which is so great. And sometimes I'm thinking, how do you balance the vision and the present? How do you do that? But what I'm learning is if we can really, that's where the command central comes into place. You break things up into small little bite-sized pieces that can kind of fill in the gaps. And then as you move forward, you start to realize everything's coming together. But I'm not missing out on the now. I'm not missing out on the opportunities right in front of me. And if you notice, the two questions that we're pondering this week, one is about the now, who needs me today? And one is about the vision. What can I offer the world? What's that bigger thing I can do? Because I think they both go together really beautifully. Okay, so here's our parting thoughts. Obviously, I want you to think about these questions today, but let's just go through a few things about logistics. So number one, clearly as we're working toward a step command central on every desk, I want you to know what that is. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, what is a step command central? Go to learndobecome.com/step. Eric and I are doing live classes right now. So fun. Come join us. Number two, if you're already in the STEP program, and you're like, oh, I started, or I got the program a while ago, I need to do it, we have a brand new login for you. Same email and password used in our other login. It's my.learndobecome.com. You can just go log in there. The newly revised program we've created and the whole team has helped with is awesome. So come build your STEP Command Central. We're here to support you. And please, please, please tell your friends about our free class, the one linked on our page, but learndobecome.com/step, because I'm pretty sure you have friends who are overwhelmed as well. That's what we're noticing in most of the world. Okay, number three. If you already have your STEP Command Central totally built, you can send us a photo right now if you'd like. It's email@learndobecome.com, or just wait for us to set up the formal structure for all of this. We're going to create a page and make it awesome. We'll announce it through our email, social media, and podcast and everything. Okay, number four, there are a lot of fun, helpful ideas being shared on social media. Our daughter Grace is 16. She's so good at Instagram, so she's starting to help us. So we have a link to Facebook and Instagram, because we're kind of posting stuff there. And there's some Facebook Lives and things like that we're doing. So go follow us, Facebook and Instagram. It's @LearnDoBecome on Instagram, or facebook.com/LearnDoBecome. And then finally, I just want you to know this is about more than just organizing a desk. The reason I want to discuss these two questions today is because I believe that each of us have beautiful purposes for which we were created. And I know when I say that, you might think, well, not right now. My life's crazy right now. And I can't even think about deeper purposes, right? And I understand. That's why the Command Central is going to change your life. But people do need us, all of us. And I believe it's time for each of us to do what we were meant to do. It means the world to have you here with us. I feel I'm sitting in my little podcast room and I can't see any of you. I'm just staring at this computer. I know there are thousands and thousands of people who are out there and who are listening and who are participating. I send a huge virtual hug. Thank you. Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.